Sometimes, the most chilling clues aren't found at the scene of the crime at all. Not in fingerprints, not in DNA, not even in a witness statement. Sometimes, the evidence hides in plain sight on something we all carry every day. A phone. A single device that can tell the story of where we were, who we spoke to, what we feared. And in this case, a message that was never even sent. A message that would change everything. Welcome to Shadows and Secrets, where we unmask the dark truths they try to hide. Tonight's story is about a final message, one that whispered from the shadows, and revealed the truth behind a chilling disappearance. It began on an ordinary evening. A young woman, finishing her late shift, took the same route home she always did. The quiet streets were familiar to her. She walked them almost every night, under the same tired streetlights that buzzed and flickered overhead. But on this night, something felt different. The street seemed quieter than usual. The silence was heavy, broken only by the sound of her footsteps. And though no one was in sight, she had the sinking feeling that she wasn't alone. She pulled out her phone. Her thumb hovered over the screen, typing a quick text to a friend. Almost home. It was routine. A little reassurance before the final stretch of her walk. But that text never made it through. Hours later, her phone was found on the pavement. The screen was cracked. The last message unsent. Beside it, footprints in the dirt led into the darkness, and then nothing. She had vanished. For days, investigators searched. Neighbors were questioned. Friends and family describe her as careful, cautious, not the type to wander off. But still, there were no leads. No one had seen what happened. It was as if she had simply dissolved into the night. Then came the discovery that changed everything. Forensic experts examined her phone, scrolling through her calls, her apps, her messages. At first, nothing unusual appeared, until one investigator checked her drafts folder. There, frozen in time, was a message she had typed but never sent. It read, "He's following me." The words were chilling. They painted a picture of her final moments. A walk that began as routine had turned into a desperate fight for safety. She knew someone was behind her. She knew she was being watched. But the truth of who it was and what he wanted remained in the shadows. Leads poured in, but one stood out. Witnesses recalled seeing a man in the area, lingering near the same streets she walked every night. He wasn't a stranger to law enforcement. He had already been under suspicion in another disappearance months earlier. A pattern was emerging, and when investigators compared the footprints near her phone with his shoes, the connection grew undeniable. He was taken in for questioning. Inside the interrogation room, he sat silent, his face unreadable. But the evidence was mounting. Phone records placed him near her location that night. Cameras from nearby shops caught glimpses of his figure in the background, and his story shifted under pressure. What began as denial turned into contradictions, and contradictions turned into confession. But the story didn't end with him. Investigators mapped his movements across 3 states. Red pins marked towns where women had gone missing, dots connected by a trail of lies and secrets. He hadn't just been a shadow on one street. He had been a shadow in many. Every crime leaves a trace, but every secret casts a shadow, and this one remains in the dark.